Hello, my loves. I am Ellie Frost. If you don't know me, I am a coach, mentor, strategist, and healer for soul aligned visionaries here to do amazing, innovative, artistic, soul aligned things on the planet that take us all forward in new, beautiful, consciously elevated ways. Oh, hello. What I want to talk about today is let's drop some of the illusions around why we don't follow our purpose. Most mornings I've already kicked someone's butt in terms of my clients, in terms of helping them remember why why they're here, what they're here to do, and that everything's abundantly available to us when we follow our truth and our purpose. But we've also been in this sea of illusions, right? Where society may have tried to convince us that it's not possible, or it's a nice to have, or you can't get rich that way, or I don't know, it's too hard, or a multitude of bullshit that people projectile vomit over you, which is so far from the truth. So let's bust some illusions right now. One is, people have this idea, I don't want to work hard. It would be hard to start a business. It would be hard. This is so fascinating to me because what I find when I transition people, especially out of the corporate world, is we think more, as in more money, more clients, more impact, means more of the ways we are working now. And if they've been close to burnout and very, working very hard against their natural energetics, more just feels like more stress, more pain, more burnout. When we follow our soul purpose, right, it's the opposite. It's not that you don't work. I mean, there's another thing, right? That the human mind, the other illusion that people have that's been proven statistically to be a load of bullshit, is that people, think, when I have the island money meaning if I won the lottery, I would go and sit on an island. Now, what's been proven is that after a couple of weeks, most humans, it might take you a year sometimes, would go to the island, drink a few pina coladas and be fucking bored out of their brains, yeah? Our purpose work is life-giving. And when we work in ways, it's not just doing the right work, it's doing the right ways in alignment with our energy, with alignment with what I call peak performance, which isn't just excellence, it's, for me, hello my love, peak performance is being in alignment with my natural flow. Now, there are many tools out there that can help with this, but the reason I say there's so much bullshit on it is because, the people on the internet sometimes don't have a lot of depth of understanding of the principles they're teaching. Most of the principles we hear about are absolutely correct, but if people only understand it on a surface level, they come up with these blanket rules, like at the moment, you should be more in feminine energy than masculine. That is not true. We are all unique individuals. You need your optimal balance. It's like you need your optimal diet, the optimal foods for you. When you are understanding how to work in alignment with you, then you work at peak performance. Tools are useful. Human design. In human design, I'm a projector. I understand how I like to work as a feminine leader, but it's not a blanket rule. There's no rules. There's just what works for you. And we're here to use those tools to help us understand ourselves. But ultimately, we know when we're getting stressed, burnt out, tired, and not energized, right? It's very fucking simple. When that's happening, you're not in alignment with you. When you're aligned with your soul work, you will want to work. You won't want to be on the island because it's exciting. It's exhilarating. It's self-expressing. It just feels so good to be you and you get fueled with energy. So it's like none of us really want to do nothing with our lives. We just don't want to be stressed and burnt out and doing unfulfilling things. But there's nothing more fulfilling than doing work you love. Now, work doesn't have to be traditional sense. I mean, even just enjoying a life you love. But so this idea that, I don't want to work hard to get it. Are there times when we're following our passions that we have to endure and persist? Yes, absolutely. Even with manifestation, you've got to persevere. Yeah, that's a life skill though. Yeah, anything you want is available. Yes, you do have to make it happen. I know current language is like, don't talk about making it happen, receive the whole thing. You will have to be a cooperative component and get up and make shit happen. And that is one of the most exciting things you can possibly do. When people are depressed, to treat depression, if they volunteer and get into work environments, the depression lifts. When we are doing meaningful, purposeful things, we are ignited. Our depression changes, the serotonin in our mind changes. So the old industrial age way of like slavery and working so hard in ways that you don't enjoy, that aren't fulfilling, just to survive, that is the history, that's the past. Working in a soul-aligned, purposeful way gives you life, gives you energy, puts you in your flow, yeah? It's not that you won't work, you'll want to work. You'll want to work, you'll want to engage, you'll want to do the things that turn you on and you're passionate about. So that's one myth that we can completely dispel. Another one that people have is, I'm not ready. As if suddenly something will happen and make them more ready. And then they might even kid themselves and say, well, I'm just going to do this course, I'm just going to lose some weight, or I'm just, there is no great leader on the planet that if they'd have waited for all those things they thought they had to do, would have accelerated very fast. Because what happens, you are born ready for your soul purpose. The only way you're going to refine it, master it, understand it, is by choosing to go for it now. And as you do, you'll be shown what you need to know. You cannot sit in your room and go, well, I think the skills of me doing that would be this, so let me do this and that. Until you get out there with people, I teach my clients all the time to get out there with people, because your customers, your clients, your audience will give you the information you need in real time. But if you try and just do it all in your head, you're not going to get the fastest results. So there is no such thing as not being ready for your soul purpose. You were put on the planet for it. There is such a thing as delaying your own good because you're not stepping into it. That one is out the way. Third one, the most famous one, money and time. Money and time are universal excuses, yeah? People really use, I don't have the money, I don't have the time. We have decided in our society that those are the two things that you can't question people on. Yeah, because we all want to use that get out of jail card. I don't have money, I don't have time. These excuses are also not true. There is nobody on the planet that set up a huge empire that had that money to start with, or had any more or less time than you. And we've all got our own stories. You might say, well, I'm a single mother. I get that's hard. You might say, we've all got them though. You don't know what's going on in other people's lives. You can look at someone and you can think, well, she's fine. She's like a single woman. Of course, you have no idea what my life is like, right? None of us do. So the thing is, if I choose to take my power back over, there is no circumstance in my life that is bigger than me. You can build a business in the pockets of time. I do all the time. I have for years, just in the pockets of time, depending on what suits you and your energy. But there's no way that you have any less time than anyone else on the planet. You really want to consider losing your stories about why it is harder for you, why it's more complicated, all that stuff. That won't get you where you want to be. What we're playing for is quality of life and freedom, and that comes from a commitment to that. Yeah? Freedom comes from commitment. So you have the time you have, now get in peak performance and use it in alignment with your soul and unlock your abundance is kind of my thing on that. And money, people are leaking money on the things that they're not even using half the time, yeah? You do have the money, you do have the time, and you also have the ability to change the way you spend your time and change the way you spend your money. That the universe isn't a joke. It's not like, oh, I'm going to put you on the planet, but you're not going to have the resources you need to achieve what you're here for. That's not the truth. The truth is, you're on this planet, you have the resources you need, but you've got to utilize them. Time, attention, money in alignment with your soul purpose, your ultimate freedom and wealth. That's the game, if you want it. But you're not going to be able to sit on the couch and suddenly be ready one day, suddenly think your way into it. You're not going to be able to keep the stories around you of why it's harder for you. We've all got them. We've all got what we perceive as limitations. Don't think you're on your own because you might have children, or you might have a health thing, or these things are valid. I'm not underestimating them, but I'm saying they're not a reason for you not to go ahead. Why? Because when you go ahead, the transformation is huge. I've had people in my world, you might have seen testimonials where they've been trapped for 20 years because of health conditions, physical conditions that they're now transforming after only a few weeks working together. There is nothing you can't radically change, no matter what your time, money or current conditions are, but you've got to choose. Those are people that invested. Yeah, there's no excuse, because some people in my world are the bravest people on the planet, because they're not the ones, when six-figure entrepreneurs are worrying about investments in their growth, it confuses me. One, it's a tax. You're not thinking like business owners. One, it's tax deductible. Two, it doesn't make any sense. The beauty of having your own business, especially if you're investing in coaching and development, is that, it is a tax write-off, and two, it's the cheapest way to grow and evolve, right? A university degree costs a lot of money. I did a bachelor's of law. This is it's a no fucking brainer. And what you're getting on the other side is your abundance and freedom. So look where you leak money. Look where you buy things to emotionally pacify yourself rather than grow, because you have mostly got the time and money. You've got some and you can use it in better ways. Using our resources wisely is a very key thing. Another reason, illusion, lie that people have around why they're not following their soul purpose is, I'm not clear enough. I don't have clarity. Now, you can work with someone like me and get a very clear connection to your soul purpose, and I can read psychically for you, a bit like an Akashic Records type scenario, but I don't use those. I do my own thing. But with your purpose, you've got to connect to a bigger vision inside of you. It's going to be broad. Yeah, it's an essence. I call it an essence, your soul essence. I also teach people and elevate you to think of their brand essence beyond, just what they're currently doing. It's a wider thing. And when you connect to that, the pathways get shown. Your purpose grows with you. And that makes sense, because you evolve and the consciousness on the planet evolves. So how you're going to be useful to other people changes in changing time. So it is a movable thing, right? I run something called Visionary to Visionary. I've got a course on how you work with a moving vision in the new, what I call the new and the now, in the future and the present moment, bringing those things together. But you're not meant to be 100% clear on every detail of your purpose. You're meant to be available for what you do know now and take action on it, radical action on it, and let the rest unfold. When you're on a soul purpose, it's you can be surprised and delighted every day of your life, because you are now available to work with the universe, to work with God, to work with a higher power that will take you effortlessly into more layers of it. When you work in alignment with your soul purpose, you're plugging into life force energy. It doesn't feel like working hard. And there's no way you'll just want to sit around and do nothing. It will feel like, oh my God, the best sex, you want to have more of it, right? The alignment with your soul purpose, you want to have more of it. What anyone else is doing right now doesn't make any sense to me if you're not choosing that. Because not only does it feel exhilarating, it unlocks money, it unlocks security, it unlocks freedom. It is everything that we want to be aligned with, right? So whatever illusions you've been buying into, they're just constructs of your mind. They're not true. But, if you have got the normal ones, I don't want to work hard, we've already dealt with that. I'm not clear enough, time and money. Just stop. Honestly, if you want to change your life, don't use time and money as an excuse anymore. Just own the fact that I'm not ready for that, if that's what you want to say. Or, do you really want it? Anything you really want, you can make happen. You'll find a way. That's the truth of life. I've done that so many times in my life, in the impossible and with other people. If you really desire it, if you really connect to it, those things are not your excuse. And don't use them, because you'll keep manifesting something you don't want, right? We use them as our little safety nets, our little pacifiers, like little babies, that we have these little things that we can fall back on and excuse things. And I'm not saying that in this particular moment, you might not have the money today, but don't make it your excuse because you don't want to manifest that life, right? Most of you can find the money. Most of us can. Most of us have no idea of our ability to be able to call things into our life, but it's real. It's real. So that's my share. Drop all the bullshit. Get on with your purpose work. You don't have to be super clear. You don't have to be anything other than willing to be on this journey, to actually go for it in a committed way, to stop testing the universe, looking for signs, looking for someone to make it. The other thing is this, the other illusion that people are doing is buying into complexity. And then they get so gaslit by the internet, by other people's opinions. People are telling them what they should and shouldn't do. And there are no rules, to be honest, apart from what's right for you. But, you know, we gaslight ourselves into confusion to stop ourselves going forward into something that's very fucking simple. You know who you are in your heart. You know what you love to do. You know what kind of lifestyle you'd like to have. You know that for you. You know what frustrates you. You know what excites you. Start there. Start there. Go change the world, make a ton of money, and be extremely happy and fulfilled. Any questions, let me know. Lots of love. I'll speak to you soon.